All right, let's talk about building a productivity system that actually works. I mean, one that's fast, fluid, and grows with you, not against you. Today, we are diving deep into how to master the incredible hybrid of Workflowy and Notion. You know the feeling, right? You start a brand new system, it's clean, it's perfect, but give it a few months and it just collapses under its own weight. It gets clogged up with random ideas, it's painfully slow, and instead of helping you think, it's just getting in your way. Look, it's a super common problem and it's not your fault. It's actually a flaw in how we're told to use these tools. And here's what's so interesting. You see this failure in two very different ways. On one side, you have Workflowy. It's built for speed, but pretty soon it can turn into this endless, chaotic junk drawer where ideas go to die. Then you've got Notion, the king of structure. But it can become so rigid and heavy that just jotting down a quick thought feels like you're filing corporate paperwork. Both of these paths, they lead straight to frustration. So what if there was a simple, elegant rule that could stop this from ever happening? Well, there is. It's what we're calling the two-brain philosophy, and it is the key that makes this entire hybrid system click. It changes everything. Here it is. This is the single most important rule you need to remember. Workflowy is for thinking, Notion is for storing. You have to keep a hard line between these two. Seriously, this isn't just a tip. It's the core foundation that the entire system is built on. Never, ever blur that line. Let's break down why this division of labor is so incredibly powerful. Workflowy is all about the process of developing ideas. It's fast, it's frictionless, it's perfect for brainstorming and outlining. Notion, on the other hand, is built to be your structured permanent memory. It's a system of record for your finished projects, your knowledge library, your databases. One is for the messy, creative part, the other is for the clean, organized result. I love this analogy because it just nails the relationship. Your engine, that's Workflow, is what creates the power and the forward momentum. And your operating system, that's Notion, is what manages all the long-term files and resources. You absolutely need both, but you would never ask your engine to manage your file system, right? Okay, so that's the philosophy. It sounds good in theory, but what does this actually look like day to day? Let's get practical and see how this system really works in action. It all boils down to a really simple three-step pipeline. First, you capture everything. Every little task, every random idea, every note. It all goes straight into a single Workflowy inbox. No friction, just get it down. Second, you process. This is where you refine those raw thoughts. Maybe outline them, connect them, all still inside Workflowy. And finally, you store. Once an idea or a project is fully baked, that's when it graduates and moves over to its permanent home in the right Notion database. Capture, process, store. That's the flow. Let's use a real-world example, like the getting things done method. Say you're planning a big product launch. In your Workflowy inbox, you just do a massive brain dump. Draft press release, ideas for landing page, schedule team meeting, research competitor X. Later, during your processing time, you flesh out those bullet points. Once that plan feels solid, you take the actionable tasks and move them over to your main projects database in Notion. And boom, now they get due dates, owners, and status tags. You see how that works? Messy, fast thinking becomes structured, actionable work. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but how do I actually get my stuff from the engine into the operating system? Great question. This is where we build the bridge between the two tools, and you've got a few really cool options here. You can definitely start simple with things like embeds. This lets you see a live Workflowy list right inside a Notion page, which is great for, say, keeping an eye on your inbox. But where the real magic happens is with automation. Tools like Zapier or Make are like digital glue for your two brains. You can set up these powerful workflows without any code. For instance, you could create a rule that says any bullet point in Workflowy that you tag with #task automatically creates a brand new to-do item in your Notion database. That's the moment your system goes from being manual to being truly magical. So we've covered the philosophy and the mechanics, but there's one more piece to this puzzle. This is the secret that really separates the casual users from the top 1% of power users, and it's what makes the whole system unbelievably fast. Okay, here's the secret. You have to stop thinking in folders and start thinking in search. See, beginners spend all their time building these deep, complicated folder structures that eventually become a nightmare to navigate. The masters? They keep everything pretty flat, and they use Workflowy's amazing search operators to create instant, dynamic views of exactly what they need the moment they need it. Just look at this stuff. Instead of clicking through 5 levels of folders, you just build a simple query. You want to see every active work task you've touched in the last 3 days? Bam, there's a query for that. Need to pull up everything you're waiting on from a specific person? There's a query for that too. These aren't just searches. They're basically live updating dashboards that you conjure up with a few keystrokes. It's a total game changer. And that brings us right back to the main point. It all comes down to this. The difference between a system that fails and one that flies is whether or not you respect that fundamental line. Don't use your thinking tool for storage, and don't use your storage tool for thinking. When you honor that distinction, everything just works.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. What if your productivity system stopped being just a digital filing cabinet and instead became a true partner in your thinking? By creating that clean separation between thinking and storing, you give your ideas the space they need to breathe, to connect, and to become something more. And really, that changes everything.